Okay, so this video is going to be fairly short, but it's going to be a really good one. Now, one thing we haven't talked about in this at all is a stateless functional component. Now, these are, since React version 14, have been good to go. Now, we want to make sure if you haven't updated your project yet, make sure your package.json looks like this. If not, there is a video in this series about getting our package and everything up to version 15. Now, what's cool about stateless functional components is basically these things are going to have no state, and they're going to be almost pretty shallow as far as components go. But they're going to offer us a lot of performance improvements in the future. So the coolest thing about these stateless components, or so people have called them pure or dumb components, is that really they're React agnostic, right? So the perfect example would be this contact item. All we're doing is outputting a list item with this.props.contact name and this.props.contact phone. We're not doing anything, and a lot of this markup seems really extraneous and unnecessary. So what's cool about these is, like I said, in the future they're going to be offering a ton of performance enhancements, but right now, if you were to use JSX in another thing that wasn't React, your pure components would work. So let's go ahead and change this contact.js to be a pure or a functional stateless component. Okay, let's go ahead, and the first thing we want to do is let's modify this. So class no longer will be here. In fact, neither will extends React component. Okay, let's just get rid of everything. We'll leave contact here, and now contact is going to become a const, or a constant variable, and it's now going to be equal to, and we can equal to a function here. Now this function is just going to be an arrow function. Now what we don't need in here anymore is we don't need a render, and we don't even need a return because we're not doing anything else. So let's go ahead and get rid of all this stuff. Check this out. I mean, we just vanquished a ton of lines of this project. I'm going to get my indentation correct here, and as you can see, we now have a constant contact that's equal to an arrow function where all we're doing is outputting a list item with this.props. So if I save this, let's see if this actually works. I'm going to tell you right now it's not. But as you can see, we can't read props of undefined. So how do we get props in here? Well, this is where we want to pass some things into this arrow function. This is going to be so cool. We're going to say these brackets here, and now we have access to all of our props. Now we can do so easily by just saying contact like this. Now, if you followed along in the Meteor and React for Everyone series, if you did that one, then you would have seen us using these pure dumb components as layouts. And while they weren't necessarily, and now they weren't totally explained as such, this is the explanation to why you would use this syntax. Now we have access to contact as simply as contact, and we don't need this .props. And we don't need this .props. So let's save this, and we can use contact.name, contact.phone. So let's head back here and refresh, and as you could see, Lucy Moon can be added, no problem. Everything's working the exact same way it was a minute ago. Yeah. So let's go ahead and add a new prop here, which will just be, we'll just say item. We'll just say item. Now item, this is just going to be equal to a string of hello. This is a totally stupid example, but I want to show you how you can have more than one prop in here. So how do we output hello in here, or this string, which was item? We can head to up here in our object, and we could say comma item like this. And if all went well, if we refresh this, you should see we're not getting any errors just yet. So we can now come down here and simply just say item. Now item should exist as the string of hello, and as you can see, we have hello showing up every single time. So that's how you pass in more than one prop into this stateless functional component. So what's great about these little components here is that we could have had this component, this whole constant contact here. Let's go ahead. We could have had this in the same file as the contacts list, like just down here, and then we wouldn't have had to export and import it if it wasn't something that was going to show up anywhere else. And you can have this sort of concept of these micro components, these really small components that don't necessarily do a whole lot, but it explains a little bit more about what it's about. So we have a contact item or something down here. So this is something that you're going to feel out a little bit as you go, and really at the end of the day, the more components that you can have that are functional and stateless, then really the better. Because obviously having them be React agnostic is something that's pretty sweet for the future of your application if you ever need to move to another platform. But really the performance benefits that you're going to gain in later versions of React are going to be really nice. So obviously anytime you can have a stateless functional component, go ahead and do so. Awesome. So as always, this is Scott with Level Up Tutorials. If you have any questions or comments about this, please hit me up on Twitter or Facebook or leave a comment, pretty much anything. And if you like React, head over to store.leveluptutorials.com and check out the Next Level React Native series for iOS and Android. It's a premium video series. It's nearly 9 hours long of pretty much everything you need to know to get started building real native applications using just React. Awesome. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.